You know the reason you're possibly 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight is your image. Hey guys, Bob Ferngren back making videos for people who are getting close to 50, people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And I'm talking about things like your health. What if you had an A plus in your health and let's say you're 55? Would that be cool? What if you had an A plus in your finances and you're 65, you had an A plus, you've prepared well, an A plus? Would that be cool? Absolutely. And what if you've got your health, you got your finances, and your relationships? Maybe it's been a struggle with you and your adult children, and now you've got an A plus. So we're going to talk about those things, not because I'm claiming to be an expert, but what I am claiming to be is the guy who made every mistake you can make. And then because I'm not a fool, I learned from my mistakes. Mistakes are what have probably made me the most success, not being afraid of failure. So your image, how does that have anything to do with your weight? Let's say you grew up overweight. Let's say your parents didn't really care that you put on a bunch of body fat because they weren't paying attention, and aside from a few possible medical issues, I think that's poor parenting for some kid to be overweight or obese. Today in America, our children, well, here's the way I look at it. When I was a kid, the term childhood diabetes didn't even exist. Now go look on a schoolyard. A lot of fat kids on those schoolyards. So who's responsible for that? The kid? No, you can't get off that hook. But here's the reality. There's a lot of fat people in our country, overweight people carrying tons of extra body fat. Well, how'd that happen? Well, I think a number of things have happened from a social proof standpoint. Social proof is talked about for positive reasons. Like if your friends are buying something and they like it and they tell you about it, that's called social proof. There's lots of other forms of social proof and things that can be done on the internet and various social media platforms that show social proof. But here's the social proof of being overweight. Chances are, if you're overweight, you're probably hanging around with overweight people. So where's the peer pressure? Doesn't really exist, does it? Chances are, if you're overweight, you're dating someone who's overweight. That's like, well, it's okay with that person. It's okay with me. So if you don't want to manifest all the diseases that come along with being overweight, and by the way, it's killing us. You can not be a fan of Bobby Kennedy, but he's speaking the truth. Something like 80% of kids can't even qualify for the service. This overweight thing is a nightmare. And you know how things change? It really is. Society changes and peer pressures come along and people don't want to be a certain way. But it has to start with individuals first. Individuals decide that I don't care that if I look on my right and I look on my left, there's overweight people. You've heard that thing, if you want to be wealthy, if you're hanging around with people who are middle class or less, average people, you're going to be just like the average. You're going to be the average of the average people you hang around with. If you hang around with people who are better off financially, you're going to be better off financially. It's just how we humans work. So one, take a look at who you're hanging out with. Two, that doesn't mean be mean to people. Doesn't mean to run away from people. Two, I've already given you a list of things from reducing stress to changing your diet to supplementing properly to moving your body to drinking lots of water. All those things are going to help you lose weight. But nothing's going to change until you change your mindset and your view of yourself. Your view of yourself. Now, I've been in the nutrition space, health and wellness, helping people lose body fat for over 25 years now. And here's what I have seen clearly. Those who create a different image of themselves, For instance, I might be talking to a mom and, she remembers what it feels like to be in her high school body, where maybe she weighed 30 pounds less than she does. So, what would you do in that case? Well, I would say, Mom, I'd probably get out those clothes you used to wear. Mom, I would put that picture of you on the refrigerator, the body you want to be. What if you've never been in that body? What if you've always been over it? And here's exactly what I've taught. I said, go find the bodies that you want to. There's plenty of, ladies magazines or men's health magazines. Just cut that out. You don't have to have that person's head on it. That's not you. But if that's the body you're trying to get, that's the image you have to convince your mind that you want to have. Now, the vast majority of people are going to lose weight for vanity reasons. But the truth is, I'm talking about health. And if you're carrying extra body fat around your organs, sorry, I didn't make the rules. Here's the deal. You're going to manifest chronic disease. Your liver isn't supposed to be surrounded in lots of fat, in your kidneys and your spleen and your gallbladder. It sounds like I'm being mean. I just want to wake you up. If you're getting near your 50s, or you're in your 50s or your 60s or 70s or 80s, you can change. You can change. There was this oil change commercial, I believe it was, or maybe it was Midas, the muffler people. And their saying used to be, you can pay me now or you can pay me later. And paying me later is going to be a whole lot more expensive. In that case, to fix your car. In this case, to fix your body. Honestly, can somebody, this whole crap woke stuff about, oh, we don't want to be body shaming. I don't want to body shame anybody. I want people to be healthy. I want them to be in the jeans they want to be in. I want them to feel good and be energetic. So whatever it takes. I might be a little bit of a tough coach. That means whatever to you. But if you don't want to follow me, don't follow me. If you want to follow me, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you how to get out of it. Your self-image. Do things to create a different self-image and watch what happens. Hey, God bless. Have a great day.